Hey everyone, welcome to Downright Mindful. I'm here with Paul. Say hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
And we're going to continue our conversation about roads in Bradley County. This is a little part, we're dipping our toes in the water of a little local history project we're going to do, but we're just kind of talking some of it out now. And mainly what we do on Downright Mindful is we just have conversations and we press record and let you have ears in the conversation and hopefully a voice at some time. So let's talk about some roads, Paul.
So, what do you know about the Green Book from back in the day?
The Green Book, is this the guide for some groups of folks that would let them know friendly places or unfriendly places in the South?
Yep.
Is that the Green Book?
Someone created, if I'm not mistaken, let's go to the 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, segregation is still in place in the 60s. So, yeah, the Green Book, they made a movie about it. But, like, forget the movie for a minute. Let's think reality. You're traveling through Cleveland, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Is there any spots in Cleveland that ended up in the Green Book?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a couple. Quite a few in Chattanooga. So, I mean, we've got some local history that connects to that. The two places that I believe that are in the book when we've done some work, I mean, they don't exist anymore, but there's still some markers. And one is on Inman Street. So
now,
that's...
Just to clarify, is this... They're in the Green Book because you stay away from there?
No. The Green Book is all about...
The Green Book's, they're friendly. Green light. Okay,
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I got you.
That's right.
You know the name of that establishment?
I don't off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But you requested that, hey, let's keep traveling down some streets. And so my first thought was Inman Street. My second thought was the Green Book. And just wanted to see if you were familiar with that at all.
I mean, loosely. I know what it is.
So slide that now to the side.
Yeah.
And let's go back to born and raised Matt Paris. What's Inman Street mean to you?
Inman Street.
First of all, Harrison Pike starts where? At that light where Starbucks is and you cross over and now you're on Harrison Pike?
Yeah, that's what I would call Harrison Pike.
And then Inman Street going up. How far does Inman Street go up until it turns into 64? You going all the way up to that tree chopping place on the left there with the gas station across the way?
Yeah, at least there. I mean, I think it would be, I think you'd be pretty safe to call it that until you get past like Lowry Street and it goes into the 4-lane.
Yeah.
I don't know officially where it's called that, but
yeah, sounds about right.
If you talk to someone from around here, that's about where they would.
I'm talking to you. You're from around here.
Yeah, that's about where they would recognize it to be.
Inman Street, first thought?
My first thought went to a story my granddad, who I talk about all the time. This is not my memory, it's his. But they were driving down through there, and this is long before I'm born. And somebody, I guess they were smoking cigarettes and had a window down, but there was also snow on the ground. It's kind of a weird combination, but somebody threw a snowball through the window of their car as they're driving down the street and hit my grandmother in the face and like broke her glasses or something. And he was just a young, angry dude, and he wanted to go, and she stopped him from going back. And so that's the initial, like, my first thought of like old Inman Street. But Inman Street, as I know it, is Mosby Park, man. It's Spoonies now. I don't know the history on Spoonies or how long it's been there. Man, it's good. You ever been?
Spoonies? Where's that at?
It's right across from the park. Like right across from you know where the barber shop is in the park right there, Mosby Park. Just right across the street, there's an older building, but it's got a little family-run restaurant, and it's legit. It's fantastic. Fantastic service. The food's good. Everything's good. I love it.
Coach Campbell talk about that place?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think so.
But Emmons Street was, for me, most of my life, it's just kind of a cut through. You're not going anywhere on Emmons Street. You're going down Emmons Street to get somewhere else. But now for a little while, we lived off of 4th Street for probably less than a year. My dad was, we lived in a parsonage at Johnson Woods from the time I was 9 till the time I moved out.
Yeah.
So in getting that job, they let their lease go up on the house. And then the job wasn't going to be available for like another year. The guy that was there decided not to retire for another year. So we had to find a place to live. So we ended up just behind, the house is not there anymore, but we're just behind, actually we're in front of East Side Church of Christ and very near the funeral home there on Wildwood. You know where that's at?
I do.
Okay. So right in behind there, and locals would know 4th Street and Wildwood is where Wallace Reimer Grocery used to be. You could go there and, buy this and that. That's a little before my time, so I don't know. I can't tell you of the experience of that place, but that's a landmark for the old timers to recognize where 4th Street is. But anyways, we lived there for just a few years, and that was just a hop and a skip from Inman Street. So it's very close to home for a little while for me. But then the guy retires and we moved to Johnson Woods. So we're talking, my 9 years old, somewhere around 90. And this is after 93. Because when the blizzard came, we were at Rolling Brook. Somewhere just after that, we moved to 4th Street, which was just off of Inman there. But I would always hear my grandparents especially tell of how Inman Street used to be just this lively, thriving place, much like maybe what it's becoming now.
Yeah, there's huge plans. I sat at an Elks Club meeting, and if I'm not mistaken, it's like $153 million being poured into that place.
Yeah.
When there was a time, Estes was talking, and that he remembers sitting on, city council maybe 19 years ago, and to ask for like $25,000 to be able to do something down there was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And now these grants have flowed in and monies have flowed in, and ideas, a vision for what that is has flowed in. Whirlpool has moved out. Something's got to go in there. It's really cool. We've done some local history. The kids have, found the websites of Cleveland City has put it out there, what that vision is for the next 10 years. Yeah. There's like a zip line, the kids are all excited about that. I'll move back for that. I'm like, maybe not.
Can we talk?
It's pretty amazing.
Can we talk Inman Street without talking the railroad bridge?
You have to. I have seen. You see, all those divots up there. Yeah. I've seen that once before in my life where you're not stuck.
From knowing me, that I spent a little bit of time at Pathway Press after high school.
Yeah,
I got the job there because a guy run a mail truck under that bridge and peeled the top off of it. And that was, for him, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. And they decided to part ways with him. And so a position came open, and I was an applicant.
It's funny.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Inman Street story. We could tell Inman Street stories all day. I could tell you when my truck broke down in the barbershop parking lot there, and I got to know everybody in the neighborhood. They were just people coming up and, hey, everything okay? And, yeah, I'm good. You know how to fix this truck? Nope.
Was Kyler about to play some basketball when Hunter, Spencer, Probably Jackson McGowan all ran into each other right there.
Piled it up right there by the summit, didn't they?
Was he a part of that? Seth was in the back of all that and got to witness it all. And, he got to walk away smiling and laughing when everybody else was.
To tell you the truth, I believe, were they sophomores?
Sounds like. And they all had just started driving.
I think Kyler was probably coming there as like a cheerleader or an assistant coach or something, because I believe that's when he was hurt for a year or so. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good story
right there. For me, I mean, I think of Central Park greasy cheeseburgers as a freshman coming to Lee. I think of the Spot, not there anymore, but just that fun little old. I mean, it had been there forever. You ever used to see the Spot?
The Spot you talking about on Ocoee?
Right where we talked about
Ocoee?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
And then at Lee University, Upsilon XE loved to go to Cameron's, eat breakfast at Cameron's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went there a few times with some buddies.
Yeah, Cameron's is like that's Cleveland through and through, man.
Yeah.
I think of Larry's Car Wash. Did you ever get your car washed down at Larry's?
No, but I know where you're talking about.
Decades and decades of pretty good dang car washes down there. But yeah, Emmons Street's cool. Emmons Street is Cleveland through and through, man. It really is. Okay,
so let's go off of Emmons Street and go down Church Street. Now, Church Street now, I mean, like, part of that is that Lee University Ped Mall, just pedestrians are walking through there, students are going to class. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I got to Lee in 95, Church Street was already shut down and they had created this thing. But I remember people saying it wasn't too long before that. Do you remember Church Street being open up all the way through Lee's campus? You're too young.
Is it not open up through there now?
No, Church Street is. No, I don't know.
Where does Church Street come into Inman at? Right there at Firestone?
What's Firestone?
Like a block east of the summit, the big tall.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not even there anymore because of all the reconstruction. Have you been down there in a while?
Yeah, I walked through that. I'm aware that Firestone's not there.
So you're going to take a left. Yeah, so you're on Church Street.
Yeah, okay.
Right, so that's some downtown. There's that, the police, and then, there's the church. I don't
remember anything on the other side.
You're too young?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Some old timers I've heard talk about how, I've seen old yearbooks and things where that used to be just open up, but I don't know, living down 4th Street for you, Church Street, anything? Do you ever end up on Lee's campus just riding your bike through there or walking or anything?
No, we didn't really cross Inman. We didn't get out through there. We wanted so bad to, now, first of all, across the street from our house was East Side Church of Christ. So we had a big parking lot. So I could ride around that parking lot in that area all day. But they didn't want us around those businesses at all over there. And it was always the mantra of like, hey, whether you do anything or not, if something happens, you're going to get blamed for it. So we would always steer clear of there. But we would kind of run those grounds behind there, including like around, I guess it was Maytag at the time, Whirlpool, all those little roads back through there. I mean, our backyard faced Whirlpool. That's what you saw when you looked out the back. Just a little old run-down rental house. But Church Street, I can't think of a whole, I guess my most memories of Church Street is as an adult, just walking around downtown, and I would walk down through there. Isn't that where the homeless folks and others go, and there's like a back, you and I walked down through there here a while back, and isn't there a place where they feed like dinner or something back there? If you need food, you can go back there and get it. Is that Church Street? Oh, yeah. It's that old Norval Hayes place, New Life Church, I think. Yeah, the backside of that. You and I left the Johnson Park and went that's right. Toward that. That's Church Street we ran into right there. Yeah. You keep walking down there, then you're going to run into Lee. And I mean, Church Street for me there was a time when Spangler let me say yes to Bill Estes teaching part-time at Lee in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm.
I would leave Ocoee. I would hop on my bike. I would run down Church Street or ride down, teach a class, ride my bike back, finish the day at Ocoee. So I don't know how many times, even on some planning, just walk from Ocoee down to the tower, the clock tower at Lee, and then just walk back just to get out,
Yeah. I'm going to need to go down through there and familiarize myself with what would have been on the other side. I don't think either I'm not old enough or I just don't have any memories from that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you don't have a Lee University diploma, man.
No, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's the heart of campus. It really is.
Yeah.
What if I chop it up? What if I take it to 8th Street? Where's 8th Street?
Well, there's probably more than one. The 8th Street that I think of is in East Cleveland, and it runs from what we would call 6th Street, which turns into Benton Pike, all the way into the back of Lee University. It crosses the tracks and comes right down through behind Pathway Press, up by the library, and into the monument there at Ocoee.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you follow that all the way through.
And it keeps going down to Arnold.
Yeah. It goes all the way down to, I think it's Highland Avenue that runs into Inman on the other side near the Snow Biz. What's that place called where you get the snow cones now?
Pelican
Ice.
That's on Inman Street.
Yeah. But if you take that road, I think it's called Highland Avenue.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Okay.
You'll
I see
run
that
into
line
the end of 8th Street there, I believe. Yeah.
Any memories on 8th Street? Still staying downtown, or do I need to get out of downtown?
No, you can stay downtown, but if you give me 8th Street, we're going to go police stories.
Come on, give it to me.
There's a Blair compound used to be on 8th Street, and we'd end up over there sometimes. And for instance, one of the first times I went there on patrol, I was just answering, I don't even remember what kind of call it was. But as I pulled in the driveway and got out, I noticed there's pit bulls tied everywhere. So I can kind of see a dirt path leading between these pit bulls, and I'm judging chain lengths, and I can you kind of look where the grass is beat down, and that kind of tells you where the pit bulls can get to, So I'm walking through here. It's like playing some kind of video game where if I go a little too far to the right, that one could bite me, and if I go a little too far to the left, that one could bite me. But
it's like throwing cushions on the floor when you're growing up and there's the lava.
The floor is lava. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. But I'm walking down through there, and this girl comes out on the porch and says, "Stop right there." And I gladly stopped right there, and she was like, "Don't move. I'll come get you." And she walked right out there and walked me on up to the porch to where I was coming for her. I guess she had called the police about something. But that was my first memory.
So she saved you from the dogs?
Well, I mean, who's to say these pit bulls would have bit me anyways? Pit bulls are nice dogs, but this is
unless they're raised to not be nice dogs or trained to be nice dogs.
I mean, I wouldn't assume what they were using these pit bulls for, but they weren't petting them. But let's say
sometimes when you assume it might be true.
Let's consider the worst. Let's say they are raising them for nefarious reasons. I know enough to know that typically, even those dogs aren't really harmful to humans unless you were to try to break up a fight or something and just got in the way. You know what I mean?
Nope, I don't.
Well, that's what I hear. I have no experience raising fighting dogs. I have no experience. But I've done a little reading, and I've done a little talking, and I've done a little hearing, and a dog handler like that is not going to put up with a dog that's biting humans. You know what I mean? They're dangerous.
Nope, still don't know what you mean.
They can be dangerous to other animals for sure.
I saw some cockfighting down in Nava, Mexico.
No.
And I watched them put the metal talons that they crafted and put it on. I mean, that was intense. I'm going to say it. It was fun to watch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But then when you start thinking about everything that surrounds this activity, then, okay, yeah, this is.
No, I get it.
a lot. There's a lot going on there.
So let me make the disclaimer. I in no way
Disclaimer.
I in no way enjoy or approve of fighting animals in any capacity. But that happened on 8th Street. Yeah, so, and then, okay, let's cross over. Now I'm at Pathway Press. Somebody got hit by a car in the dang, I don't know what the street is that runs right in front of Pathway Press, but at that intersection with 8th Street, I was walking outside one day and heard a noise and saw some people go running, and somebody got knocked plumb out of their shoes by a car, a pedestrian. That happened.
So you're talking about right in front of North Cleveland Church of God?
No, down, if you go, all right, go south.
Because that's Pathway Press to me. That's where I'm buying books and buying CDs.
Right, okay. So North Cleveland Church of God, but as you're approaching Pathway Press, take a right in front of it.
Yeah.
And you're going to run into 8th Street down on the other end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm with you.
Down there.
Yep.
And that was the, for us that were working in packing or the mail room or the press,
Sure.
that was where you entered. It was in and out that side down there. But yeah, somebody got knocked plumb out of their shoes. And then going up to the library, man, our library, it's like a little hidden gem.
It really is.
It's gosh, I think you'd have to, maybe every small town's got a historic library like we have, but I don't
know, man.
I don't.
They truly converted one of the most oldest and most beautiful homes. And it was donated. I think that's part of that story of like the family gave it for the purpose of the library. And there's meeting rooms up in there. I mean, it's just, there's some beautiful meeting spots.
Yeah. Now, while I'm on, let me make a stop here. You always talk about the historical archives or the historical branch
of the library. Yeah.
So is that, can you get in there from if you go in the public library, can you get to it from there?
No, you have to cross the street.
It's across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's on the other side of the monument.
That's where the Craig Miles used to live. So there's Craig Miles Hall that used to be like the Princess Theater. It used to be a place where entertainment, right?
Yeah.
But no. This is where they used to live, or at least part of the family. So you've got the library where you're talking about. You've got the monument. And then across the street is that beautiful old building that is the historical branch. And our Bradley Cleveland Public Education Foundation, their offices are upstairs, which is a really cool spot to have an office.
We're going to roll up there sometime this summer.
Now, I can't believe you've never been there.
You got to walk me in there.
If I was a guy who shamed people, I would shame you right now, but I don't do that.
Do you have relationships in the building? In the historical branch?
Those are instant relationships.
Really?
Those ladies are waiting for people to walk in. They will help you with, you have one question, you have 40 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to direct you in a path of going, hey, try this, try that. Hey, hold on. Hey, come back tomorrow. Call me in 2 days. Yeah. Every time I've gone, I've probably been in there 4 separate times, like throughout the years of like, I'm looking for something specific. And they can either direct me or they can't. But by golly, they're going to tell you that, like, hey, let me do my best.
Huh.
Yeah. Those are good people over there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we need to get down there this summer. I got to go. I want to find a good reason to go, which we're, if we start a
Yeah. It's been
project,
local history for me.
Yeah.
Having kids, find stuff, look stuff up. They've got something they can't find. It's been neat. Yeah. 8th Street.
That's about it. I mean, that's about all my 8th Street stories, unless you just want to hear a bunch of chasing meth head stories over through East Cleveland. But
well, 8th Street dumps into the Brown Avenue down there. Right? You seeing that?
Brown, yeah.
Yep. That's the last one. So you said Highland, and then the next one is Brown Avenue.
Yeah. So
Sarah
it crosses over.
Mm-hmm.
It crosses. Okay.
It does.
And that bends back around to Willow.
Yeah, I think so. And then you're going to dump out into Key Street.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sarah used to live down there. So, I mean, there's a lot of memories of like hamburger helper.
Yeah.
Her first job was at Arnold. I was still at Lee. It was fun to just either ride my bike down that way or walk down and see her. 8th Street again, goes through the heart of Lee. whether it be dorms or now it's a soccer field and another dorm Sarah used to stay in. So, yeah, 8th Street means something. And then you cross over those tracks and like you've left Lee, you've left kind of downtown, and you are now you're in a different spot. You're in a different area for sure. I've got like 20th Street, 25th Street, but like, what if we just kind of get out of this area and I'd take you to Harrison Pike? You in a cruiser now?
Harrison Pike.
You answering calls?
Not really. I didn't work the West a lot on patrol. Now, one of the most epic police chases I've ever been was mostly Harrison Pike.
Okay, you use the word epic, so will you please?
Yeah. Okay.
Tell that story.
So I'm a drug detective, and I'm trying to remember what kind of deal it was. I don't know if I was just doing surveillance. I had a target coming from Georgia, but I don't remember what I was going to do. I'm kind of sketchy on the details, just thinking about it. For some reason, when he gets to the location we're at and we're watching, I follow him. I don't know if I was trying to make him at another resident. I don't remember. Anyways, he makes us, and he starts just out of nowhere, just driving like erratic, crazy. Like I had nothing on this guy. Now, did I believe him to be in possession of cocaine? Yeah. If he was doing what we were not ordering like I'm telling you to do it, but the information we were getting was he was making a delivery. But he makes us, starts driving crazy. But I wouldn't have messed with him at all because I wouldn't have wanted to burn my informant in that way. You know what I mean?
Nope. When you use that phrase, I take that question seriously. I can't relate to anything you're saying right now.
Okay.
I'm fascinated by every detail. So just keep rolling.
Well, somebody told me this guy's coming up here and he's going to bring this. So if I just stop him out of nowhere, whoever he's had contact with snitched on him, right? Now, if I want to be a good drug detective and have informants tell me information, I can't just be burning them up like that unless I just have to. But I didn't have to in this situation. This wasn't like the end all of all drugs. This wasn't like some big kingpin case. This was just the beginnings of an investigation. I said all that to say I wouldn't mess with a guy, but he's paranoid. I mean, put yourself in his shoes. He came to make this delivery. He's already doubtful. He starts seeing cars that he's unsure of, and then he sees some white dude with a beard and a ball cap, and he thinks, okay, this is the police, and he's right. He makes us. He starts driving like crazy.
Now, does crazy mean fast? Does crazy mean swerving? Does it mean both? Does it mean something else?
He's not even tapping his brakes for stop signs. I mean, he's running from us before we've even identified ourselves. I'm riding around in a Ford Escape or what's the name of those little cars? Don't matter. It's a little Ford sedan. It's don't look nothing like nothing, but his paranoia, he's getting out of here. So I thought, heck, he's giving me reason to stop him now. I'll just stop him and we'll just take this down and be done. No, he's not stopping. And he's going crazy. I mean, we're GTA 5 all the way out Harrison Pike. Now I have patrol cars joining me, but I'm still in the lead.
How far out Harrison are we right now?
Well, we're going to go all the way out to, I'm trying to remember, you know, where it bends to go left toward Mount Olive?
Mm-hmm.
If you keep going straight, I think is that Rabbit Valley? No, it's Red Hill Valley.
I would have said Rabbit Valley, but I'd be unsure.
I could be wrong. It's one of those. But he starts going all the way out through there. Now so he doesn't take the bend.
He goes straight.
Yeah, he goes straight. Okay. He don't know where he's at this point.
But it starts where? On Inman Street?
No, it started at Green Drive in Georgetown. You know where that's at?
Mm-mm.
You know where Klingen Ridge Church is?
Yeah.
Just down the street, there's a big curve, and there's like a gas station in the curve.
That's right.
And some apartments back in there.
Okay.
But he takes West Side Drive down to Harrison Pike, hangs a right.
Yeah.
And I light him up right in front of the old fitness factory.
Yes.
And he goes GTA 5 all the way out through there. Well, the whole time, I'm close enough to him that I can see he's driving like a Ford Explorer. And I can see that he's in his console the whole time. And now 1,000 times I've seen people trying to hide drugs, and it kind of has a certain look to it. This didn't have that look to it. So I'm advising these people, like, hey, I don't know what he's doing, but like, be careful here. Because I'm in my mind, I'm like, this guy's loading a gun, or he's trying to get a gun situated. Well, as we're going out this country road, the dispatcher comes over and says, hey, the person in the car in front of you, we have them on the line, and they're saying they're not going to stop. Well, then he takes a right on what I know is a dead-end street. He didn't know. And I remember I keyed up, and I said, well, we're on this street. We're about to find out. So he gets down to the cul-de-sac.
Can I pause?
Yeah.
How'd they get on the line with this guy?
He called.
He called?
This is a Mexican-American, and he called 911 to say, I'm not stopping.
Who does something like that?
Well, you'll learn here in just a second.
Okay. And I'm not real patient with these kind of stories because there's just 1,000 questions that can be asked. But like, has anyone else ever done something like that before? They called 911 while being chased by the cops?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go. Keep going.
So we have enough information, and we're in a place right here with no traffic, and now he turns into this neighborhood. He goes to he sees this as a cul-de-sac, and he goes to circle around, and I just block his circle, and I've got and I'm telling them, just file to the right, and they file and he smacks the front of my car, knocks the front of my car off. Marlon Nelson is on patrol with the county. He comes up to the right, and this guy backs up, circles around, smacks the side of his car, and goes on down the road. Well, my car's I'm literally running down the road, and I'm going to catch up with this guy. Like, I don't know what's happening. Well, his car is disabled. It dies on the road, and he takes off running up this big hill. So my buddy Marshall is up the hill after him, and others. So I go straight to the car.
How many cars do we now have chasing him?
It's a bunch.
Okay.
It's several.
Several, 6, 7, 8?
At least.
Okay.
Yeah. We're sending cars. We're going to have a car meet him at the top of the hill. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's a funny story at the end of that too. It's Marshall's story, but I'll tell it for him. I go to the car, and there's 9mm ammo everywhere and a 9mm gun in the driver's floorboard where he's trying to load this gun. So that's the payload of the story is this guy's on the phone saying, I'm not stopping. And he's getting ready to have a shootout with the police. You know what I mean?
I do on this one. Yeah.
And that's why, like, you know, we had just enough ingredients and enough observation to meet that with a little bit of aggression. There's kind of a line you want to not cross there, but you also, I mean, there's people on their porches. There's so many things happening here. But Marshall, they run up this monster hill, a mountain, if you will. Marshall said they both I didn't go up there, but Marshall said they both got to the top, and they're like 10 yards from each other with both of them with like their hands on their knees. And he's like, you stop right there. But they were wore
So
out.
did that guy have any like weapons on him as he's running?
No, not on his purse. As soon as his car was disabled, he didn't have his weapon, and he was covered in police. I mean, he's surrounded at this point, and he makes his last ditch effort to run. We get his dope, we get his gun, we get him. He goes to jail. All of that to say, there's a Harrison Pike story.
Okay. I don't care what road we're on. You got to give me another one where someone knows. Oh, so you lit him up. So your lights are on.
Yeah.
You're driving. What are you driving again?
It's an Escape is an SUV. What's the car version right below that? I loved this little car. The sheriff's office paid like $3,000 for this thing.
Sounds pitiful.
And it was fine. It's all I needed.
My bad.
All I wanted was something to just blend in.
Yeah.
And it was perfect for that. I can't think of a Fusion. Ford. Is it a Fusion?
I mean, that's a Ford.
I think it's a Ford Fusion. I think it's what it's called.
Okay.
But I liked it. But he tore the front end plumb off of it. I was done with that car. It was over.
So tell me another story of someone calling in and saying, hey, I'm being chased and I ain't stopping, or, what does that conversation with the dispatcher sound like from the criminal?
Well, the fact that happened while he's being chased in a car, I don't know how rare that is. I would say it's pretty rare, but someone calling dispatch and saying, hey, you tell them to back off or somebody's going to get hurt or I'm not stopping. Or,
well, tell me one of those.
That happens. I mean, take the guy at Royal Oaks. Do you remember this in Cleveland? Drive north on Michigan Avenue. It turns into Dry Valley. Right as it's turning into Dry Valley, there's a pretty nice, decent neighborhood on the right. Okay. SWAT has a enormous, that's one of the last things I did at the sheriff's office was watch the front door of that house as this guy's barricaded for hours. I mean, we make gosh, I don't want to say too much here, but I mean,
then don't, but just come back to that,
we have to make a trade for the homeowner. A guy's essentially broke down. He's wanted. We don't know this at the time. The police go out there to say, hey, how can we help? Because he's been out there for a long time and he's in this neighborhood. Well, when they start to run his name or check his ID, the girl that's with him in the car, he grabs her around the throat and puts a gun to her head and drags her to the nearest house, breaks the front glass out of the house and drags her inside. Well, there's an elderly widow woman inside. So now he has essentially 2 hostages, and it's a huge deal. Everybody's there. We've got, negotiators show up and negotiate him for a long time, and they talked him into giving up the homeowner, and SWAT climbed a ladder from the bottom level up to the main level and took her out a bedroom window on their shoulder down the ladder. Because he wouldn't let anybody open the front door. Yeah, I mean it's not my story to tell, so that's all I'm going to tell of it. Fair. But that's a fantastic. Like, people need to know the capability of their sheriff's office to do that, to execute those maneuvers, to do that. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, that guy we were in negotiations with him for a long time. Including times when he was shouting, I'm coming out, I'm shooting everybody, I'm coming out, I'm shooting everybody.
Who's our negotiators right now?
I don't know currently.
Yeah.
I know Zach Pike started that team, Zach and David Michaels.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
There's Zach Pike again.
Yeah, and I was going to be one of those third team member, and the night we were going to meet about it, Nat Acciona called my cell phone.
Get out of here.
Wow. Ask Zach, he'll verify it. Yeah, for sure.
As a negotiator.
Yeah, that's where I was headed. I mean, that's one of the things that I was going to start specializing in, yeah.
Any other name you can throw out there that I might know that has experience in that? Because, while you're thinking, I'm just going to, if you don't know, you don't know. But, the rest of us who don't wear a badge or go undercover, we just watch movies, man. We just watch Die Hard. We watch people show up and negotiate, what's happening up in, the 30th floor.
Yeah.
But this is still our town. This is still people saving lives. This is still people having the skill set to get into the human psyche of someone in a moment like that and go, hey, we do see you. Let's negotiate.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, man. And
how does a Zach Pike get in? Of course, this would be his story, but does he say, hey, we need one of these in this town, I'm going to start this team?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I will say that, if someone were looking to start that, there's a certain time where Zach Pike's the absolute. I mean, he's one of the most well-respected investigators in this town for a reason. I mean,
make that circle bigger in this area, in the state, in the Southeast. I mean,
yeah, anybody who's dealt with him wants to hire him. He's sharp. He does not leave uncrossed T's or undotted I's, and his brain just works at a different speed than your average Bear.
Hmm.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Super smart.
Yeah.
He's all shucks like me.
I know.
You're never gonna walk into him and be
word.
like, "Oh, this guy's so smart." But like once you get to know him,
Yes.
I mean, that's me and Zach. We grew up around the same people. We didn't grow up together.
Yeah.
We weren't friends for years. We're both at the sheriff's office, and we're not buddies. But once we kind of start recognizing each other, and we got a lot in common, and we think a lot alike in a lot of ways, and in the ways that we don't, we sort of complement each other, and that's how we became buddies. It's like, hey, he's a high-speed guy. I want high-speed guys in my life. I think that's the same thing he said about me. No, I'm just kidding.
That is cool, man. And it's crazy how we connect with people and how we cross paths with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still talking roads?
I mean, we can. Let's go to Dalton Pike. To me, I'm heading out to either Red Clay, right? State Park out there.
Yeah.
Or I'm heading out to Farmers Lake for another birthday party. I'm discovering that you can put concrete at the bottom of the lake and call it a destination that people like look forward to.
For sure.
That you can go out there and they could be 12 people out there. You could go out there and there could be, you can't even count how many people are out there. How many times have you been out there?
A bunch.
Does that include like younger days? Does that include just parenting days?
No, younger days for sure. Yeah. As a kid, the first time I went there, I nearly drowned because we didn't go.
Is that
swim.
an exaggeration or like you had a near-death experience?
I mean, looking back, maybe a little exaggerating, but like I literally was, I'll quickly tell you, I went there with a bunch of teenage boys. We're probably, preteens at least. We're 12 years old. And nobody in my family swimming. We didn't go swimming. That's not what you did. I didn't know how to swim.
I've heard some of those stories before.
But you know those little diving boards that just come up out of the water over there?
Yeah, of course.
Well, 7 or 8 of my buddies go off that diving board. I just went right behind them. Head first. And
that looks like a belly flop waiting to happen, though.
No, the dive was probably beautiful. I don't know. I'd say
humble.
the dive was beautiful.
Yeah, because you're such a swimmer.
But I didn't think I was going to make it to the side. I had no, I mean, to the point I'm trying to get my mouth above water enough to scream for help. And
That's
I couldn't.
Terrible.
I could
That's
not.
so terrible.
And I literally fist fought my way until I felt concrete. And okay.
Did you play it off?
I don't remember. It was traumatic for me.
Some of those thoughts were suppressed.
I remember I really wanted to learn how to swim after that.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was about 14, I learned to swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You one of those? Well, no, I know you rode your bike. I was about to ask you. You one of those kids that didn't know how to ride your bike either?
No, I rode my bike.
Yeah, I know you did.
A lot of times. Dalton Pike, we could talk. Hannah Brothers Dairy. I went down there and traded those fellas out of some milk one time because it's illegal for them to sell it.
That's what I've heard. What'd you trade?
I think I took them a bag of like cucumbers and tomatoes.
Get out of here.
No. Well, and trade's the wrong word because it's probably illegal for them to trade it. But I went there to buy it. Hey, man, I want to.
This wasn't that long ago, was it?
Yeah, Kyler was probably, I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 8 years old.
Yeah, that's not that long ago.
Yeah,
We're in our 40s now, buddy. So I mean,
it's not that long ago. But we had several, Kyler and nieces and nephews and all them running around, and I wanted to churn butter with them. I wanted them to have that experience. So me and Papa roll down to the dairy farm, and we just walk in, and they're milking in there. It's literally the Hannah Brothers. They milk, and they're a whole story in itself, man. They make Dalton Pike. Like they can't talk about Dalton Pike without
Same
talking about these
Hannah's
guys.
last name that are like hanging up in Bradley's gym.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
Liz Hannah. Liz Jackson.
Still don't know.
Okay. Keep going.
I don't know.
I don't know.
This is the only time I've ever met these fellas.
Okay.
But they stood there and told me stories for 30 minutes. And I said, hey, I'm wanting to do this. Would you let me buy some milk from you? And I had brought a brand new 5-gallon bucket. And so it was good and clean. And he said, well, I can't sell you milk or trade it, but I can give you some. And I was like, man, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, it's no problem at all. I love the idea. And so he gave me some milk. And later on, I went, Papa, he was with me. So he's got, at that time, he's got more vegetables than he can eat growing in his backyard. So he bags up some stuff and says, let's go. So we go back down there and we gift them some vegetables. But, the Hanna brothers, man.
Can you remind me why that milk can't be sold like that?
Well, because they're on a contract. I mean, they're milking essentially on a contract for, whether it be Mayfield or whoever it is. But then there's some FDA restrictions probably coming in. There's some administrative law that applies to stuff like that. But it's good. You ever drunk it straight out of it like that?
Not like what you're saying.
So they're milking, and it's going into this big old tank, and that tank's got an agitator in it because it's got coolers in the bottom, and you keep it agitated so it don't freeze, and the fat stays mixed in, But that's what they poured it out of. They just went over and opened up a spigot on that tank.
Get out of here, man.
And man, it was, God almighty. I remember thinking, if I lived here, I'd weigh 600 pounds because that's some of the best.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be waking up as the sun was rising.
You'd be working it off.
That's why. No, you wouldn't be.
Yeah. But
You'd
I
be
remember
strong.
One of the Hanna brothers, he was talking about, because he had these little calves out there caged up for sale. And I was like, what's the deal with all these? And he was like, that's bull calves. He's like, ain't no good to us. We're going to sell them. And I was like, really? I never thought of it. That's the kind of stuff you don't think of.
Yeah, of course.
And he was like, yeah, my daddy always told me bull calves and girl babies will take down the dairy farm. And I thought, man, that's what I came here for.
Yeah.
That's what I came here for.
Wow.
But yeah.
Is that still a working farm out there?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Shoot, I cannot get away from that local history we've been doing in class for the last 3 weeks. But urban development, this urban sprawl, Dalton Pike. Every time I drive out there, there's a new house.
Yeah.
Right? You seeing that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, how long is it going to be until that is something else?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hurts my heart a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Because you go down there right now and those guys will tell you stories. I forget what the time period was, but it was most of their life. And these guys are probably 60 at the time. But they told me a story of one time that they missed a milking over 30, 40 years. And it's
blizzard?
because, no.
That'd be my guess.
One of them was on his sick bed in the hospital, and they thought they were going to lose him, and the other one went to visit him. So some people around came and milked for him. Yeah. So other dairy farmers came and milked for him one time. Wow. One milking.
That's 7 days a week, buddy. That's 366 every 4 years. That's
if you
that's a life.
You start talking local history,
but
and you start
there's a
hitting
rhythm
parameters
to that life, and we can only imagine.
Yeah,
we even daydream about it. But that was 99% of the American population when this whole thing started out. Everybody was a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Dalton Pike.
How about tornadoes? You talk about tornadoes when you talk about Dalton Pike?
Right, of course.
Yeah. Over at, what's the name of those streets? Is it like Archer Lane or somewhere? It's up above the golf course. That area over there's in 2011 was just decimated.
Mm-hmm.
Decimated, destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think it's that area's first visit. I think they were hit pretty bad back in the 70s. Was it 74? Is that the year? Do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember, you would just, for a month, we'd just be going to look for who can we help next.
Yeah.
And people that have been around, they would start telling stories, and that was part of it. So we tell our 2011 stories the way they told their, 1970s stories. But
yeah, sure.
I'm not familiar enough to know.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Dalton Pike, for me, As a Lee student who just got here and we're heading off Dalton Pike and we're about to go to Georgia, I mean, that seemed like another planet. Like that was a connector to another galaxy. Like it's just Dalton Pike. There's nothing out there. You're only driving that to go somewhere else.
Did you get there by going down Wildwood? Hey, did you go by?
Probably APD 40, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the way I've always done it.
Did you ever go to the pool hall right there at, I think they called it Fantasy World. I think you could go there and rent videos and play pool. I was young. My uncle took me in there a couple times. He liked to shoot pool. But it's right. We're talking Dalton Pike. You're on Wildwood, and you go through the red light there by Harry's, where Spring Place Road is.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a little video store there, right? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, on down at the...
Because we took the boys there a few times. We didn't take them to the pool hall. I don't know what you're talking about there, but there was always a building connected to it that we never went to. Maybe what you're talking about?
You're talking about... Are you talking about Sports Pizza? There's another Dalton. Like, that's Dalton Pike.
But we used to go rent some DVDs.
Yeah. I just want to give an honorable mention to Fantasy
Honorable mention.
World, Sports Pizza. Yeah. Like, that's a big deal down there. And then, you know, Walmart's kind of, in the span of my life, that's kind of newer down there. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's part of our memories now.
Yeah, we remember that Walmart being built.
Yeah.
As we lived out on Bates Pike. That was a big deal because now it's so much closer.
I bet the video store you're talking about is Sports Pizza and Subs.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I bet it is. Fantasy World was on closer in. Do you know where that 20th Street meets Wildwood Avenue or Dalton Pike, you would call it by then probably? That 20th Street runs by Blythe Bower Elementary.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Sure.
So where that 20th Street meets what you would consider Wildwood or Dalton Pike, whatever you want to call it right there, there's a gas station, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, right next to that gas station was that pool hall. That's where I'm talking about. Just before you go under before you go under APD 40.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been closed. But it's
probably a while.
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a little while.
DVD rentals still available? Probably not.
It may not have been a rental play. It may have been arcade and pool, maybe. Maybe that's what it was. I just remember playing pool with my uncle there. And always remembering, I don't know if I should be here or not.
Now, you got me thinking out on Bates Pike, there's a little pool hall. On Bates Pike. Yeah, I mean, like it was kind of hidden. It wasn't advertised, but like we had taken a little peek one time because there was it was basically a junkyard. Bates Pike. You're not quite to Oak Grove yet. If I'm going...
outbound?
If I'm coming off of 64, I'm now on Bates Pike. I'm headed toward Oak Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite to the overpass. It's right there to the left.
Oh yeah, there's a pool hall there?
Yeah.
That's
You know about this?
Yeah, there's a body shop and a junkyard right there. That's all that's there. Well, I haven't been in there to play pool. No. No.
But it's those little spots, man. I can be transported back to Ohio in an instant. And I mean, these are the little bars, you know, these little dives that old city used to, and I'd be tagging along. That's the kind of stuff that we would go to.
Yeah.
No one knows about this except the 8 people that go there.
Wow. Pretty cool.
That was kind of, I don't even know where that one came from. But Bates Pike, Bates Pike was a big deal from Oak Grove for us down to Taylor Elementary School. Man, we lived that Bates Pike life for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
We could talk storms there. I mean, but we could talk about, you know, just being a Falcon there, about going to Taylor and playing outside at those softball fields. And we'd call that the cow park because, man, it smelled terrible and the boys didn't care because they had a good playground there. Bates Pike. What you got on Bates Pike?
Not a lot. I mean, I have memories of Bates Pike, but nothing significant to think of. I can remember sitting there at Oak Grove School in the middle of the night in a patrol car, and dispatch came over and said, there's somebody jumping out and scaring cars with a scream mask on. at the intersection of Durkee and Bates Pike.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen a thing. And I literally opened my door and ran straight to that house at the corner just to see if I can I see a person? Can I see anything? I shined my flashlight to the dew on the ground. There was no footsteps or anything. I think it was just a prank call. I mean, I searched everywhere. Me and a couple others that showed up searched everywhere around there to try to find somebody scaring cars. I think they just drove by and was like, look at this guy sitting in his car. He needs something to do.
You just gave somebody an idea to put a screen mask on. And
yeah, but summer nights and at that time of the night, you can shine that flashlight low to the ground, and if someone stepped there, you can see it. I could see the dew. I couldn't see no footsteps.
Yeah. Now I can't think Oak Grove and think about Adam Ferguson living that Falcon life.
Adam Ferguson. Yeah. Boy, they hit the jackpot, didn't they?
Yeah.
Good dude.
Jeremy Jones is coming to Walker Valley.
Heck yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
This is another one of those where you just can't end it. I mean, like, there's just too many roads.
You done with the roads?
Hang
on, let me add to this before we go. We got time. Let's see.
Add one more and we'll just push pause.
What you got on
because what I would really love to do, and I told you this before we hit record, is like, man, we need to be like actually driving on these places.
Yeah, for sure.
Just hitting spots and pointing there and just telling a story. I mean, that's just fun.
There's a whole corner of the county that we haven't been in yet.
Crazy as this sounds, shoot, we get Sarah's party van and we pile some people in there and we're just cruising and like, hey, what story you got in the van?
Yeah, I always did say, especially when I first came, I would love to put a bunch of teachers on a bus and give them a tour of like East Cleveland and all that area over there. That'd be fun.
It's a little education, huh?
Tell me about Spring Place Road, because we're quartering off the southwest or the southeast corner of Bradley County when we talk. Spring Place can include in there Ladd Springs. You know, I bet you don't have any Buck's Pocket stories, do you?
Well, I mean, I know Buck's Pocket because we got the map out and said, how many little communities are here?
Yeah.
And Buck's Pocket is on that map, man.
Yep.
Josh Justice just hollered at me, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and said he was out that way. You know, he's selling houses these days. And he's like, I remember you mentioning Buck's Pocket. I'm out here right now. Jeremy Jones out of Valley View can tell some Buck's Pocket stories because he's got families out there.
For sure.
You know? So I love it that you said something like that, because there's no good reason for me to know anything about that. But I can't help myself when I go into these, the map that helped me identify these small communities. That's me hanging out at the historical branch and going, hey, tell me more about what's going on here.
Yeah.
Remember when you found that out by Lake Forest? Is that Spring Place Road where we drove to that little pond and then you found that old picture from, I don't know, the 1950s?
Yeah, it's Wildwood Lake, isn't it?
Yeah, like, you know, we're heading out that way.
Yeah, Wildwood
That's Spring
Lake.
Place, right?
That's Spring Place. And then right out past Wildwood Lake, there's a big road that cuts off to the left. That's Ladd Springs.
Yeah, sure.
Like I was talking to somebody. I had a student at Walker Valley, which for the local listeners, they know that that's north. That's Charleston, essentially. I had a student that did 4 years at Walker Valley, living on Union Road.
Mm-hmm. That's a haul.
That's way out there. Her backyard is the Georgia line.
That's crazy.
It's Virginia Willis.
Hmm.
She just came to my class and spoke the other day. She's patrolling the streets of Bradley County now. But yeah, she came from there. I have students right now who live in Harrison, Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know, they're driving from Hamilton County to get here. Of course, we all have them from McMinn. Yeah, Buck's Pocket. That's a good one. We need to take a ride. Let's go out and see my granddad's grave. Let me take you out to Bonerges Church. And let me take you down to Easley Ford. If there's anybody locally listening and they're older than 50 years old, they've either been baptized or saw a baptism happen at Easley Ford down there.
Okay.
That's Georgia line stuff, man. That's It's like you drove into a different place. It's right. It's still it's easily Florida in Bradley County. That's getting out there. If you're not in Georgia, you're looking at the sign that says "Welcome to Georgia."
Yeah.
I mean, you're close. But yeah, there's some awesome places out there. Spring Place. I can't get into stories about Spring Place police wise because there's so many of them. But I will tell you, and here's a great story for you, real quick. And this happened to me today. I had a little conversation that was 25 years in the making. When I was 15, I was bagging groceries at Calfee's grocery store on Spring Place Road. It's no longer open. But it was one of the places that would hire me at 15, so I went to work there. And I remember carrying a woman's 2 loads of groceries, 2 buggies of groceries out to her car one time and paying so much attention to meticulously place everything and to not harm her bread or her eggs or none of that. And I closed her trunk and she said, "Oh, you want a tip?" And I was like, "No, I don't care. No, it's fine." And she was like, "Well, here's your tip. Plant your corn early and don't eat yellow snow." And I remember as a 15-year-old thinking, that's pretty funny, first of all.
Yeah.
But it's a horrible like, why are you just being mean to me? If you're not going to give me a tip, don't give me a tip. I don't care. I'm working like I'm making like $5 an hour. I'm fine at 15 years old then. But today I'm walking through Walker Valley. I'm going to lunch and Stan Gibson is there. Did you see Stan today?
Yeah, I did. We shook hands.
So he, and I always say hey to that guy. I love that dude. But as I come back out, I'm walking away from him. Hey, see y'all later. Thanks for being here. All those things. Well, my shirt today is a Skills USA shirt, and it says advisor on the back. And he says, "Hey, advisor, give me some advice." And without missing a beat, I said, "Plant your corn early and don't eat yellow snow." So
that's the life we live, buddy.
Yeah.
And when you don't miss a beat, I mean, that's just too much fun.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was good. Stan probably thinks I'm damaged in the head now.
Probably.
I don't care.
Still good advice.
Yeah, man. We pressing pause?
Yep.
All right. Let's press pause then.